My favorite source of mama know-how is those godly women who have gone before me and crash-tested so many different scenarios with their own kids. My own mother, who raised my brother and me. A precious friend and mama of 12, almost 20 years my senior. Another wise mama of 3, who is a few years older than I. Sally Clarkson, Elizabeth Elliot, Ruth Bell Graham. All these women have different numbers of children, mothering philosophies, personalities, and preferences, but they also have at least one thing in common that I want to emulate, something every godly mother should: a desire to conduct themselves in a manner worthy of the gospel, without being frightened in any way by those who oppose them. Philippians chapter 1, verses 27 through 28. That last bit is just as key as the first, because in a culture in which women clink their wine glasses in celebration each night for surviving my kids for one more day, there will be many who oppose a view of motherhood that says that we can do more by Christ's strength. Not only that, but there will be many who resent a perspective of motherhood that chooses to grasp hold of something other than the hard and the loss of me time, namely the abundant gems of joy and fulfillment that glitter amidst the everyday landscape of lunch prep, potty training, and sassy attitudes. Sometimes we just need someone to remind us of what an incredibly rad undertaking this whole motherhood gig really is. Which is where I come in. I'm not even 40 yet, so I don't qualify as aged, but I am a mama of 10 children, and I'm volunteering to be your cheerleader, your boot camp coach, your friend, and your fellow journeyer, all things to all mamas, to paraphrase Paul. Because while I do not have this whole mothering thing figured out or nailed down by any stretch, I have had enough practice applying some of the wise biblical principles I've learned from the women I listed and others to get a pretty good feel for some strategies that are helpful to all mamas. For it is a truth universally acknowledged that a child in possession of a sinful nature must be in want of a mama who loves and seeks the Lord. Sorry, Jane Austen. I had to. Chapter 1. The Culture of Mediocre Motherhood. Examining the attitudes that keep us from Christ-like excellence. I have a feeling that the phrase mediocre motherhood will have quite the polarizing effect on the casual bookstore browser who happens to catch sight of this cover. A certain percentage of the population will immediately relate to it, assuming they know exactly what I mean. They may or may not be right. Another group might pick up this book and thumb through it out of sheer curiosity. What could this crazy lady with all of these kids possibly mean by referring to motherhood of any kind as mediocre? And the last type of reader will probably pick up this book with the express intention of using it for kindling without ever cracking its spine. How dare I imply that any mother might possibly be less than a sparkly unicorn goddess warrior? After all, we have given birth or gone through fire to choose our children. We are mothers. Hear us roar. I'm sure I've missed a reaction or two, including that of utter indifference, but these are the 3 most prevalent possibilities that pop to mind, and so I feel compelled to explain as clearly as I can what I mean by such a loaded phrase. But first, let's see what Merriam-Webster has to say about the word mediocre. It describes someone or something as of low or moderate quality, value, ability, or performance, ordinary, so-so. Ouch, right? It's not a state to which any human wants to aspire, or at least none should want to. And yet it's a state I can all too easily slide toward, and one to which our current mothering culture seems to gravitate. In the words of the Princess Bride's inimitable Inigo Montoya, let me explain. Why relatable is not always reliable. My blog requires that I spend time on social media interacting primarily with other mothers. And as anyone who has spent 2 minutes on Facebook or Instagram surely knows, social media is full of memes, especially motherhood memes. One in particular has stuck with me for years. It goes a little something like this. God: so, how do you think you're doing as a mother? Me: well, I fed my kids pizza almost every night this week, and I know I should read to them, but I don't really enjoy it, so I usually skip it. I've worn the same outfit 3 days in a row, and I can't remember the last time I washed my hair. I like our talks at dinner, but I worry a lot, so a lot of the time I'm thinking about stuff stressing me instead of really listening when my daughter tells me about her day, and I think she knows it. Most days I'm too exhausted to do anything but watch Netflix all evening while I sip a couple of glasses of wine, and then I end up going to bed too late, so I wake up in the morning to do it all over again. I'm really grouchy with my kids. God: but do you love them? Me: with all my heart. God: you sound like a wonderful mom to me. Setting aside the contrived conversation with God construct of this meme, let's examine it a little more closely, shall we? Here are the parts I don't give a rip about. You may feel differently. First, your 3-day clothes.